Okay, good morning. My name is Edgar Colon. I'm the chairman of the board of the Harris County Sports and Convention Corporation. On behalf of our board of directors, thank you and welcome to NRG Park. Thank you for being here today as we unveiled a very important initiative here at NRG Park. First, I want to please silence your cell phones. Thank you. And I also want to thank all of our partners who have made this possible. My fellow Sports Corporation board members who are here today. I saw John Hernandez and Carol Stith are here today, as well as Bishop James Dixon. NRG and Reliant Energy who are here present. We will hear from them in a second. The Houston Texans, the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, ASM Global, and of course, Aramark Food and Beverage, who has provided the food here today. Thank you, Joel Nash. We also want to recognize Commissioner Jamie Masters, Commissioner of the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services, who came this morning from Austin just to be here with us today. Thank you, Commissioner. I would also like to recognize Chris Canetti with the Houston 2026 World Cup Bid Committee. As many of you know, NRG Park is in the running to host a portion of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. And this topic is one of great importance to that effort. Thank you, Chris, for being here today. Thank you for all you do for NRG Park and for your support of this important cause. Where is Chris? Chris, thank you so much. NRG Park is one of the most attended sports and entertainment complexes in the country, with more than 6 million visitors each year. With the national and international events that we host here and the prevalence of human trafficking in Houston and Harris County, we recognize that something must be done to stop this horrible crime. Globally, human trafficking is the fastest growing illegal industry in the world, and locally, Houston and Harris County is among the top 3 trafficking hubs in the nation. This distinction cannot be one that Houston and Harris County should be proud of. The Harris County Sports and Convention Corporation Board of Directors and NRG Park are proud to announce a new tactic in the fight against human trafficking. NRG Park has now been designated as a no trafficking zone. Bishop James Dixon will tell you more about what this means for NRG Park and the fight to end human trafficking. But first, I'd like to invite Elizabeth Kellinger, President of NRG Retail and Reliant, to the podium to say a few words.
Thank you, Edgar. I am President of Reliant and Executive Vice President of NRG, and I'm so pleased to be a part of this group today. It is so important. The safety and well-being of our community is a top priority, and we are excited to join the fight that is so important to this community. We are passionately committed to making NRG Park the first no trafficking zone in the country, in the county and the country, and Houston is, as you all know, our operational headquarters, and so it not only is important for this community, but it's important for our employees and the people who make a difference and serve the community. We have been involved in smaller efforts over time. We partner with a Second Cup and the Houston's Women's Center to help in this cause, but we are thrilled to step up our efforts and be a part of this initiative here. Together, this community can do anything it sets its mind to, and I think it's totally appropriate that we would set the standard for this initiative. So thank you all for being here and for welcoming me today.
Thank you, Elizabeth, and thank you to NRG and Reliant Energy for all you do for NRG Park. I am very proud of the fact that our park has the name NRG. This is a company that understands its corporate responsibilities and has a strong commitment to the betterment of our community. When Bishop Dixon came to me with this idea of the NRG Park no trafficking zone, I knew right away that this was something that had to be done for NRG Park and for our community. We are constantly searching for ways to give back to the community in a meaningful and powerful way. And the no trafficking zone is one of those meaningful and powerful ways. I am thankful to Commissioner Ellis for appointing a true visionary to the Sports Corporation Board and for James' leadership and vision on this issue. He has clearly become the conscience of our board. I had now want to call Bishop Dixon to give us a few words.
Thank you, Chairman Edgar Colon, and let me say that none of this would be possible without his leadership and his support, because he is the chairman of the board here at the Harris County Sports and Convention Corporation. Would you join me in giving a wonderful hand to our chairman, Edgar Colon? We appreciate our chairman and all of the board members, some of whom you will meet on today, as well as our staff. Our Executive Director, Ryan Walsh, and his team has done a stellar job on putting all this together. Would you just join me in giving all of them a hand? I don't see Ryan. He's tall enough not to miss. Oh, he's up there, up top. And, but we appreciate you so very much and your wonderful team, our marketing department, and all the others, logistics, who've helped to put this together. This is not a one-person effort whatsoever. We are at NRG Park, where the Texans play, and all of us know that as great as Deshaun Watson is, without a blocking line, catching receivers, and punters and kickers and everyone else, there is no team. And so we are grateful for the team effort that all of this has taken. And of course, since we are at NRG Park, and we want to thank you very much for the name, your applause can be a little louder for these people because we're in a stadium. And let's be sure and do that. Sex human trafficking, as it's been stated, is the fastest growing illicit industry in the world, second only to drugs. A $150 billion per year industry. There is no facet of our community that this scourge does not touch. Cities, states, countries, counties, urban centers, rural America, small towns, it doesn't matter where you live, suburbia, inner city, Democrat, Republican, white, black, brown, Asian, male, female, child, elder, it doesn't matter. Churches, schools, everywhere you go, this scourge has invaded our society and has impacted us negatively in ways that are too significant for us to measure. Like many of us here and experts who are in this room that you will meet today, we've read the statistics, we've studied the analytics, but none of those numbers really define the depth of damage that this scourge is doing to our society. Sex human trafficking is modern-day slavery. There is no better description of it than that. But it's hidden in plain sight. Children have been recruited in classrooms, in church choirs, in youth organizations and camps, in neighborhoods rich and poor. The victims who hopefully become survivors meet every demographic you can describe. And so since the victims meet every description you can describe, why shouldn't the army of those working to end it fit every description you can describe? This is not a black problem, a brown problem, a white problem, a Democratic problem, a Republican problem, a conservative, a liberal, anything in between, a moderate. It's not that. This is everyone's problem because these are all of our children and all of our families. And that's why I want to thank you and welcome you again to NRG Park today for this grand announcement that has truly brought about collaboration and coalition from people of every walk of life, every side of town. From Kathy Griffin to Jacqueline DeLuto, to Ryan Walsh, to Edgar Colon, to John Hernandez, the amazing people on our team, to a Constable Alan Rosen, to Judge Lena Hidalgo, to Carrie Taylor, and all of these people across every spectrum of our community you can imagine, from Senator Boris Miles on one side of town, to Senator Whitmire on another side of town, to Mayor Turner, our county judge, State Representative Sean Theory, city council members who are here, Councilman Tatum, and then Councilwoman Letitia Plummer, represented by our brother today. Everyone is saying, how do we roll up our sleeves and be a part of change? Houston, as you know, is a place of many firsts. We had a role to put a man on the moon. If we can put a man on the moon and bring him back from Houston, surely we can take a child out of the hands of the grips of someone who's abusing them. And so the vision and inspiration for this no trafficking zone, honestly, has come from the hours and days and months of work that I've been privileged to do with people like Jacqueline DeLuto and others who live the life every day seeking to turn this situation around. I call them our real warriors and heroes. In our society, in our culture, we celebrate celebrities more than we do servants. But I want to say today that this is about elevating servants, not celebrities. Because, oh, you can clap there. And so when I shared this vision with our chairman, who graciously received it, we shared it with our board, Commissioner Cagle, Commissioner Ellis, Commissioner Adrian Garcia, Judge Hidalgo, immediately these people said, yes, let's make this happen. And on January 15th, Martin Luther King Jr.'s birth date, this board passed a resolution to designate this facility, NRG Park, the first of its kind no trafficking zone in Houston, Texas, and the United States of America. Would you give our board members a hand? And I just want to ask all of our board members to come and stand with us now. Come on, John. Any other board members come and stand with us? Carol Stith, come on. Come on, applaud this, because this is history. Could not and would not have been done without them. This no trafficking zone will consist of several things. Let me just mention a couple of quick things. One, we're designating this NTZ, no trafficking zone, here at NRG Park because, as statistics have said to us, and ESPN and others have done reports, unfortunately, wherever something good has happened, evil seems to find its way around it. If I might preach a second, Constable Rosen, the book of Job says there was a day when the sons of God went to worship and Satan went also. It doesn't matter how good you're gathering, evil finds its way there. And so for big efforts like the Super Bowl, the Final Four, and we're going to have the World Cup here in Houston at NRG, I speak prophetically, those events attract another element. And sex human trafficking numbers rise whenever those types of events take place. And right around us, victims are struggling to survive. So we're going to increase law enforcement and security here so that at NRG Park, if someone sees something, they can say something. With the help of Alan Rosen, our constable here at Precinct 1, who's coordinated with HPD and the Sheriff's Department and FBI, on this campus, there'll be a text you can send to get immediate help from law enforcement on our grounds. There will be subtle and strategic messaging, public awareness, and forums held here at NRG Park. And our fans and our patrons will know that we're not simply here making money and entertaining. We're also using the influence and leverage of this platform to make a valuable difference to our society and our community. We're going to also have innovative ways of raising resources to help organizations and nonprofits fight the good fight every day, because often those services are underfunded, unresourced, and don't have what it takes to really do their jobs up to scale. We're going to help to impact that. And then, And then finally, we're going to be able to celebrate the true heroes who are out in our community every day, doing things to make an impact. We'll be able to give those people due recognition through things that we do here strategically here at NRG Park. We have a coalition of stakeholders going forward who'll help to shape this vision, but we're grateful. Today is a start. We're going to see change. And the good news is, even often without knowing their names, we will be saving lives through prevention and intervention. Would you help us celebrate today the designation of NRG Park as the first no trafficking zone? Having said that, we are excited to introduce to all of us and present our county judge. Is with us today, Judge Lena Hidalgo. Please come. Okay.
First of all, I have to say, I don't want to even think how this would have gone if we had done this on a Sunday, okay? So, thank you, James.
There will be an offering.
So, thank you, James, for all you do. You have dedicated your life to this issue. As many of you know, NRG Park is owned by Harris County, which is the third largest county in the United States, with more than 4 million residents. And we stand at the forefront of the fight against human trafficking. Our county commissioners, and I want to also acknowledge Commissioner Cagle, who just came in. Thank you so much for being here. They have worked tirelessly to better the lives of the residents and knows all too well how difficult this fight can be sometimes. Here to tell us more about the county's efforts to fight human trafficking is our county judge and my boss, Lena Hidalgo.
Thank you so much, Edgar. And I can't possibly follow Bishop Dixon's words and inspiration, and more than that, the actions of what we're all here to do. And I do want to acknowledge the leadership of our elected officials who are here. I see Constable Rosen and Representative Thierry. I saw Councilmember Kasich Stadium. I hear Councilmember Plummer's office is here as well. Commissioner Cagle, of course. If I missed anyone, why don't we have all the elected officials stand up and be recognized for your work and your, thank you. Thank you all so much. It's important to have leadership at all levels on this. And we do hear the stories about human trafficking and labor trafficking as well. And these are folks who are exploited, who face violence, who face manipulation. Those who are victims of labor trafficking are also often victims of sex trafficking and sexual abuse. And those who are victims of sex trafficking are also forced to do work in a way like labor trafficking. So this all interacts, and there are tragic stories all throughout our community and others that, as Bishop Dixon mentioned, go unseen, but that doesn't mean the pain is any less. There is a national human trafficking reporting hotline, and the estimates of that hotline, the number of calls and the number of victims they identified between 2016 and 2018 in Harris County was 1,292. Now, the University of Texas did a study in 2016. It's back. Okay. The University of Texas did a study about the number of victims they had in 2016 at that time, right? And if we extrapolate from the statewide number, Harris County would have 20,000 human trafficking victims. So our estimate is somewhere between 1,300 and 20,000. The point is, this is an unreported crime. It is invisible but not less hurtful for that. And it is incredibly difficult to tackle, which is why it takes all of us. And we see this room and we see okay, this is on. Ooh, this is great. Okay, so I'll just hold it. So we have, you know, the leadership from the elected officials to our board and our chairman and the folks at NRG and everyone who's here today. And that is what it takes. It's such a complex challenge, and we have to address it all together. So we know the challenge and we know what we need to do. First, of course, it's awareness. And the awareness that this no trafficking zone represents is the ability for victims to know who to call, the ability for perpetrators to know that they're being watched. And that's part of the word we will be able to spread with this initiative. Second is going after violators, going after perpetrators. The county, in and of itself, interacts with the industries that are most related to human trafficking and labor trafficking. That is the construction industry, landscaping, food industries. We, of course, have millions of dollars in construction contracts every year in Harris County. We are a major user of landscaping services. Think all of our bayous and all of our parks. And of course, we have work to do with the food industries and the service industries. Of course, this facility, our stadium, contracts with many vendors, and part of the commitment and the work that we're doing in Harris County right now, and that I know this board and under the leadership of Bishop Dixon are committing to do with NRG Park, is to make sure that anybody who is doing business with our county and with us understands that human trafficking will not be tolerated, that folks will be held to account. This is our county, it is our facility, and we will not accept this kind of thing on our watch. Finally, it's about supporting the victims. And there are programs from our constable's office to our public health department, our sheriff's department, different organizations throughout the county that are focused on supporting victims. Sometimes when they come into contact with the system, right? Sometimes it's once they're part of the judicial system, and part of what we need to work on is making sure we get to these people sooner, and it'll take that work together. There's a misconception that human trafficking increases during sporting events, and certainly no thrill of any game is worth the pain of trafficking or abuse. But this is a 365-day-a-year problem, and we have to treat it as such. And let's hope that the strength of our advocacy is bigger than the strength of the abuse, of the traffickers, of those who seek to take advantage. I know that is the case. This is a big day. It's a long way to go, but we stand here united with energy and ready to continue to tackle this challenge. So I'll repeat my remarks in Spanish, but before that, I do want to thank all of these partners and the city and law enforcement and all of these folks that are coming together to make sure that we're doing justice by all the people in our county. En español, brevemente, estamos aquí trabajando en atacar el problema que es el tráfico humano, el tráfico sexual, la explotación de personas en el condado Harris, en este estado. Sabemos que de acuerdo a los números que hay, los cuales no son claros pero existen, hay entre 1,300 y 20,000 víctimas anualmente en nuestro condado de tráfico humano. Son personas más que nada en servicios, en trabajo de jardinería, en trabajo de construcción y también víctimas de abuso sexual. Personas que sufren de violencia sexual, de abuso laboral y a quienes tenemos que defender. Hoy en día, con esta designación de ser una zona de no tráfico humano, tanto en este estadio de NRG y también trabajando en esto en el condado, estamos llevando a cabo 3 iniciativas. Primero es tomar conciencia de esta situación para que cualquier persona que llega a nuestro complejo de estadios aquí al NRG Park sepa a quién llamar, para que las personas que intentan violar la ley y tomar ventaja de víctimas sepan que los estamos observando. Segundo, se trata de tener cuidado, de no permitir que las personas abusen a víctimas en nuestro condado. El condado tiene muchos contratos, este estadio tiene muchos contratos con compañías de servicio, de jardinería, de comida y bebida. Y es trabajar para asegurarnos que ninguno de nuestros contratistas son parte de este tipo de abuso. Y es un proyecto que estamos llevando a cabo en el condado y que estarán llevando a cabo también aquí en el estadio de NRG. Y finalmente apoyar a las víctimas a través de nuestras oficinas de los constables, del alguacil, de la salud pública, todos los distintos niveles de gobierno, trabajar para ofrecer a las víctimas del tráfico humano los recursos que necesitan para sentirse apoyadas. Este es un reto enorme, pero lo estamos trabajando todos juntos y seguiremos trabajando para que la fuerza nuestra sea mayor de la fuerza de los traficantes y aquellos que abusan de nuestra comunidad. Muchas gracias. Thank you all so much, and thank you everyone.
Thank you, Judge. We appreciate you being a champion and advocate for NRG Park and for our community. Thank you so much for your remarks. Now I would like to welcome Chris Graves with the Mayor Turner's office, who has a statement from the mayor.
Hello, everyone. My name is Chris Graves, and I serve as Mayor Turner's Associate Director on Human Trafficking. So he has a conflict today, and he wanted to be here, but he wasn't able to come. Mayor Turner wants to congratulate Bishop Dixon, Board Chairman Colon, and the Harris County Sports and Convention Corporation for their vision. Mayor Turner is excited that NRG Park is the first in the nation to take this bold step and declare itself a no trafficking zone. It's a unique opportunity to raise awareness in the community. We're known for hosting world-class sporting events, and the more conscientiously we can do so, the better. This is aligned with Mayor Turner's anti-trafficking strategic plan, where we've worked across city departments to institutionalize our response and increase victim identification, and we've also raised awareness at scale in our Watch for Traffic media campaign. As we increased victim identification, we recognized the need to fill gaps in services, and through our public health response and referral network, we have identified and provided services to 200 identified victims in just 2.5 years. After recognizing the value of our model that we've created, we work to replicate it to over 15 U.S. cities, including Los Angeles, New York City, and Dallas. Mayor Turner's executive order on no tolerance in the city's service and purchase contracts has been replicated by 5 cities. These are the kinds of innovative approaches the county, along with the city, will have to take to shine a light on this issue, and especially with its intersection with sports, both sex and labor trafficking. Thank you to all involved, and congratulations.
Thank you. The mayor could not be here today, but we all know that he's fully committed to this project. Next, I want to call your attention to look at the monitors because we're going to have 2 video messages, one from Harris County Precinct 1 Commissioner Rodney Ellis, in whose precinct NRG Park sits. The other is from Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. Could you please play the video?
Hi, I'm Harris County Commissioner Rodney Ellis. I want to thank you for coming out. Thank you for also choosing to stand up and bring awareness to human trafficking. I want to especially thank Chairman Edgar Colon and my good friend Bishop James Dixon and the whole board of directors of the Harris County Sports and Convention Corporation for inviting me and others to the No Trafficking Zone press conference. I wish I could be there with you to show my support in person, but let's be clear about the facts. Every single day, men, women, and children are bought and sold through force, fraud, or coercion around the world as part of a criminal underground network known as human trafficking. Human trafficking is one of the most dangerous and harmful human rights violations, trapping victims in an illegal enterprise of forced labor, forced marriages, or forced sexual exploitation. We need to start calling it what it is, modern-day slavery, and it must stop. Unfortunately, Houston, Texas has become one of the biggest hubs for human trafficking. And the rise of devastating natural disasters makes it easier for traffickers to take advantage of those who are already socially and economically vulnerable. As Houstonians, we have a responsibility to be more informed and more aware of the many ways human trafficking affects our communities so that no human being can be put up for sale. This is about restoring justice and human rights for all people. Everyone deserves to live in freedom and with dignity. I stand here to voice my support to the No Trafficking Zone initiative and all the powerful community leaders and supporters who came out, as I will. We're going to all continue to fight against human trafficking in every way we can. I believe in a world without slavery, and that means stopping human trafficking from continuing to hide in plain sight. If you see something, say something. Please continue to inform and seek law enforcement of anything suspicious. Spread the message about human trafficking and support lawmakers that have been champions of anti-human trafficking legislation. We all have a part to play in making the message loud and clear. Houston is no trafficking zone. Thank you.
We have been dealing with the scourge of trafficking and sex trafficking for decades. We realize that Houston and Harris County has become the epicenter of trafficking. The trafficking population is broad. Vulnerable women, foster children at age out, young juveniles, all of them intimidated and frightened. Large sports venues, convention venues, really make for a very ripe atmosphere to be able to allow the solicitors, the pimps, and other dastardly actors to take advantage of these young victims. Just imagine this no trafficking zone that would bring in additional resources from the federal government, for example, out of the Department of Justice that would support the efforts at the NRG. You could provide safe rooms until law enforcement was able to come. Other wraparound services so that these individuals could be not sent back to the streets, but could be sent to necessary nonprofits and other facilities that would help them. I cannot thank you enough for this very significant potential act. As a member of the United States Congress and the House Judiciary Committee, I've led on the issues of human trafficking, including holding a significant federal hearing. So I offer myself to join all of you who are there today. I compliment, congratulate each and every one for this important act.
Thank you to Commissioner Ellis and Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. And now I would like to call to the podium our state representative We sit in her district. Representative Sean Thierry.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for the introduction, Mr. Colon. It's truly a pleasure to join you all today. Thank you. I really cannot express how proud I am of this incredible intragovernmental and, I might add, nonpartisan partnership that is taking place right here in House District 146, which I'm proud to represent, and more importantly, on the grounds of NRG Park. It's very important today that we send a message that in House District 146, we will not tolerate human trafficking, sexual exploitation of humans of any kind, and NRG Stadium is making the statement, not in my house, not in NRG Park's house. Not in House District 146, and not in NRG's house. I would also, I'm going to give a point of personal privilege. I really, truly, you all, it can't be said enough. He was modest today, but I want to thank our Harris County Sports Convention Court board member and our No Trafficking Zone, NTZ, as we call it, chairman, Bishop James Dixon, for lending, truly, I shouldn't even say lending, for blessing us. You've truly blessed us with his dynamic gift of visualization. I spoke with him over a year ago about this when he first started telling me what his vision was in creating this, and it has come into reality. And so I won't preach, but I will say that the scripture says that so shall my word be that goes forth out of my mouth. It shall not return to me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing I sent it to do. Bishop Dixon, you spoke it into existence, and you've done just that exceedingly and abundantly. We salute you. We truly do. I also want to thank everyone else who contributed to the success of this, the entire Harris County Sports Convention Authority Executive Board, our Executive Director, Ryan Walsh. They said he was standing back there for a moment. He may have moved around. He is dynamic, everyone. He has shown steadfast, steady support for every initiative that goes on in and around this stadium and this park. So Ryan, once again, thank you for your steadfast support and leadership. To our board chair, Edgar Colon, strong, strong leadership in advancing this resolution that we passed to implement this program. Thank you, Edgar Colon, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. To the entire board, as the Bishop said, this is a team effort. It could not be done under the power of just one woman or one man. You notice I said the woman first, right? That's going to become a trend. So it could not be done alone. So thank you to the entire board for passing the resolution. I also would like to thank all of my fellow elected lawmakers who are here today, all of the hardworking law enforcement. Constable Alan Rosen has been on this from the very beginning, so I want to thank him for what he's doing. And all of his team, and even the volunteers who are out here in this city to end this horrible crime and make our city, our fair city of Houston. We're hearing it's the hub, but we want to make it a safe and a great place to live. You've heard it here today. Human trafficking is nothing less than pure evil. It completely destroys the dignity and the lives of all of its victims. I hope and I pray that as Houstonians, but more than that, as humanitarians, that we come together today in one spirit to stop this practice. I'm grateful for everyone who's been doing this for many, many years. I will tell you now that as a legislator, I have taken on this issue last session, and I will continue to fight this issue all the way through. We go back to the 86th legislative session to make sure that we end this grotesque, it is grotesque and inhumane, by holding predators, specifically you all, holding them liable for their crimes and helping our survivors seek justice. I've already been working in a bipartisan manner. We have a coalition at the state, and we are united around our need to combat sex trafficking. You've heard it here today. One statistic that I did want to add is about our children. Right now in Texas, as we're standing here, at any given moment, 79,000 victims, children, youth, are being trafficked, sex trafficked. That is the second highest number in the nation. I've heard the quote, I believe it was from Nelson Mandela, that said a society is measured by how it treats its children. You know that one. You all, they should not be the least, the last, the lost. We have got to take on the fact that children are being neglected and ignored, and so I have a commitment at the state legislature to make sure that children are no longer arrested and prosecuted when they are truly the victims of sexual exploitation. They are not prostitutes, they are children. They are children. So I want to conclude and say that the legislature, you have our commitment, you have my commitment, and I will continue to work with anyone that wants to work on this issue with me, but we can continue to build upon past successes. We have put forward funding, we've passed some impactful legislation, but we must continue to do more. I will tell you that my focus in this matter is quite clear. It's in the 3 Ps. It is that we must do prosecution, prevention, and protecting all victims. So I want to thank you all. It really is a privilege to represent House District 146. This program